Welcome to the Food for Thought Faithcast. Clear your minds, clear your hearts. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. We thank you for tuning in today, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, it's B-Rob. It is the Food for Thought Faithcast, and it is a brand new week. It is Monday, January the 5th. Guys, want to say thank you for tuning in. And if you are tuning in for the first time, I want to say welcome to the Food for Thought Faithcast, and I hope you enjoy the show. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit today about liberation and how God is a God of liberation. Guys, I hope you are staying prayed up. Remember, seek Jesus. Seek him first. Seek Jesus in the good. Seek Jesus in the bad. Seek Jesus when life happens, as it happens. Seek Jesus through the joy. Seek Jesus through the sadness. Seek Jesus in every single moment of your life. Seek Jesus. Pray. When you get in your car to go somewhere, thank the Father for the car, for the gas, and beg him for protection where you're going and to get you back safely. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you examples of what, we should be doing on a daily basis. Guys, I told you we're going to talk a little bit about liberation. I'm going to read you some stuff, and then I'm going to play you a clip. Yeah. Isaiah 43:19. Let's do 18 and 19. Do not call to mind the former things, or consider things of the past. Behold, I'm going to do something new. Now it will spring up. Will you not be aware of it? I will even make a roadway in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. So let's examine what we're talking about there. Because at the end of chapter 39, Isaiah made an announcement about Babylon. Babylonian government would take control of the southern kingdom. Babylonian armies would then force people from the southern kingdom to leave. They would be forced to live in exile in Babylon. So you come to chapters 40 through 48, and they're recording messages of comfort to God's people living in Babylon. They've been forced to live there. Think about it. Think about you were forced somewhere, or somebody came in and put an evil dictator government on you, and you were forced to live in slavery and well under your means. I mean, the Isaiah, poems and prophecies, songs of praise. Think about it. Think about it. And God's promise. It makes clear who God is. It also makes clear who God's people are. The ones who seek him. God is the one true God, the one living God who created everything that has ever existed. There's nothing equal to God. No false gods, nothing. Nothing. So we come to that. You look over to Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm. Then do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery." There's plenty of passages all throughout the Bible that talk about liberation. The story of Jesus is a story of liberation and resolution. Think about it. And fast forward to the last couple decades. I want to take you through a journey real quick, okay? For decades, the wealthiest and most spiritual rich nations on earth were labeled as third world. And they did that to degrade them and conceal them from the truth that's going on from us. Venezuela, Iraq, Zimbabwe, Vietnam, once all thriving with vast resources, including gold, including oil, fertile lands, and ancient knowledge. They were never inherently poor. These nations were never poor. They were robbed. Follow me now. The corrupt Western powers led by the United States, the United Kingdom, NATO, and their central banking allies orchestrated a systematic dismantling of these sovereign nations. They installed puppet governments, created chaos, funded civil wars, and imposed economic sanctions designed to cripple entire populations. The primary objective was to gain complete control over their resources and eliminate any nation that refused to bow to the Rothschilds banking cartel and their petrodollar system. Venezuela, one of the most richest oil nations on earth, faced brutal sanctions. They were destabilized, and they also faced economic warfare when they rejected the US dollar and attempted to nationalize its resources for the benefit of its own people. These actions resulted in things like food shortages, blackouts, and media smears, relentless media smear campaigns. Does that sound familiar? However, the tide's turning. Venezuela now possesses substantial energy reserves and gold. As the world transitions to asset-backed currencies, the bolivar is poised to not only rise, but also experience a significant surge in value. Next, we have Iraq, who is falsely accused of harboring weapons of mass destruction. So they were invaded, looted, and the infrastructure was destroyed under the guise of liberation. The deep state's greatest fear was Iraq's departure from their petrodollar system. But today, Iraq has been quietly accumulating gold, stabilizing its economy, and preparing to revalue the dinar in alignment with the emerging global financial system. Food for thought. Zimbabwe, renowned for its mineral-rich land, boasts a treasure trove of platinum, diamonds, gold, and rare earth metals buried right beneath its soil. However, its journey took a tumultuous turn. when its leaders attempted to reclaim land and resources from foreign control, which led to hyperinflation and the label of a failed state or a third world country. Despite these challenges, rumors circulate that Zimbabwe's Zim currency notes are nicely linked to humanitarian redemption within the quantum financial system, the QFS. And you'll hear more about that soon. As the reset unfolds, Zimbabwe is poised to emerge as a global household or a powerhouse. Food for thought. Next, we got Vietnam, a rich history of resisting foreign domination, has weathered brutal colonization and the Vietnam War. Brutal. Yes, very much so. Emerging as a hub for industry and manufacture, the dong, one of the most undervalued currencies globally, faces deliberate suppression. However, currently, with Vietnam's growing economic influence and substantial gold reserves, the dong is expected to experience a significant surge when backed by tangible assets. You see, the truth, these nations were not adversaries. They weren't Satans. They weren't adversaries. They were victims of the global elite system designed to enslave the masses while hoarding the world's wealth. That's the Satan. Now, the Satan system is crumbling, paving the way for a new era. Think about this, guys. The very countries they sought to suppress are the ones that will be liberated and will blossom first. They were formerly known as third world nations or countries. Now they will demonstrate to the world the true essence of wealth and resilience. The rise of these forgotten nations is not a distant prospect. It's already begun. And God gets all the glory. You see the stories? You see what's happening in the world? Do you not see what is going on? Don't be too blinded by arguing over the symptoms, like Western medicine. Did I say that? God is good. The Spirit is discerning, and we thank God for that. And the truth is rising, and we thank God for that. Guys, I want you to hear this clip from my man David J. Sorensen. You can follow him on Twitter. He's a very good source of what's going on in the world. Guys, I want to say God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you do not have Jesus, you better get right. Roll the clip.
What is happening in Venezuela is literally so different from anything you've been hearing. Back in 2005, a news reporter, Lou Dobbs, already reported how Venezuela was the central operational hub from where elections were being rigged around the world so that the deep state could install their criminal agents in key strategic positions so that they could fulfill their agenda for one world government, for world domination. Listen to the clip here.
A firm owned by Venezuela could be allowed to take over one of this country's top voting machine firms. Venezuela, of course, led by Hugo Chavez, working to change the views of most South American countries, moved to the left. Critics of the deal say our nation's very democracy is now for sale, without anyone doing a thing about it. Kitty Pilgrim reports.
The use of some 19,000 electronic voting machines in the city of Chicago and Cook County primary on March 21st of this year is now under intense scrutiny. The U.S. company that makes the machines, Sequoia, was bought in 2005 by Smartmatic, a private company primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen. When Chicago had problems with the machines, a dozen Venezuelan employees were there to help with the election. Chicago officials are outraged.
I think that American elections ought to be run by American companies and ought to be run by American citizens, not Venezuelan nationals.
Smartmatic is technically based in Boca Raton, Florida, but the president of the company, Jack Blaine, testified to the Chicago City Council. Fewer than a dozen Smartmatic employees work in Florida. The majority of the workers are based in Venezuela. Watchdog groups question why U.S. voting machines would be under the control of citizens of another country, especially a country whose own election process is highly suspect.
We believe this is a national security issue. There is no way that companies belonging to non-U.S. corporations should have access to our elections.
This was later confirmed by Sidney Powell in 2020 when the presidential election in America had been stolen to position Biden as an executor of the plans of the Satanists to destroy America and deliver America into the hands of the cabal. Listen to Sidney Powell.
I can hardly wait to put forth all the evidence we have collected on Dominion, starting with the fact it was created to produce altered voting results in Venezuela for Hugo Chavez, and then shipped internationally to manipulate votes for purchase in other countries, including this one. It was funded by money from Venezuela and Cuba, and China has a role in it also. We have staggering statistical evidence. We have staggering testimony from witnesses, including one who was personally in briefings when all of this was discussed and planned, beginning with Hugo Chavez and how it was designed there, and then saw it happening in this country. So, I mean, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. President Trump won this election in a landslide.
President Trump himself has posted a video of a military intelligence whistleblower who confirms this. Listen to him.
From the official Dominion PDF ballot. In other words, the printing process, appearance is completely different than what you would get from a first-generation PDF printing.
These 25,000 unidentifiable ballots alone represent over double the amount of Joe Biden's 10,457 vote mark.
If our election wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election now, everyone knows it. It's going to come out over the next couple of months too, loud and clear, because we have all the information there.
So what is happening is that President Trump, as the spearhead of a White Hat operation worldwide, White Hat operation means high-level military intelligence strategic network worldwide of good people who have not bowed their knee to Satan, but who are serving Christ in an operation to save humanity from the plans of evil. They are now literally ending one of the key centers of the cabal in the world, just like they did with Ukraine. Ukraine was a center for human trafficking, for underground breeding of children, for a sexual pleasure of the elites, and for human sacrifice. It was a central intelligence headquarter of the Satanists worldwide. That's why George Soros said that if they lose Ukraine, it will be the end of their civilization. That's why the Rothschild said it'll be the end of the world if Ukraine is captured. That is why they've been funding the war in Ukraine so massively, because they are desperate to lose it. They need to recapture what's in Ukraine. Venezuela, I believe, is similar to that. It has been orchestrated as one of the hubs for drug trafficking, but for election interference and for many other evils around the world. Trump and the White Hats are busy strategically taking out all these headquarters, all these centers. In So many videos I've told you guys, we are experiencing the deliverance of humanity from a rule of evil. This is going to become so beautiful, so epic. Do not listen to the liars, the naysayers, the doomsday preachers, those who always cast a shadow over everything, those who insist on convincing you that evil is all there is. Those people are blind and they are evil in their heart. They're being inspired by darkness. Listen to the people who tell you the real facts. Trump is part of an operation to save humanity. Follow me here if you want to hear more.
Hey guys, it's B-Rob. We want to thank you once again for tuning in to the Food for Thought Faithcast. We could not do this without you guys listening and tuning in. Guys, if you ever want to pray with me, for me, talk to me, or simply be a guest on the podcast, give me a call or text 706-691-1043. Once again, my name is B-Rob. God bless you. And on a serious tip, we cannot do this without you guys. So if you would love to send a gift, $1, $5, whatever the donation amount may be, we cannot do this without you guys. We want to continue to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world. Thank you guys, and God bless.